What up, what up, what up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the horseman, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go!
Yo, welcome guys to another episode of the Premium Takes Podcast. Thank you, Matt, for that amazing intro as always. And we're back on another Friday afternoon to cover the world of sports with you folks. Hopefully everybody had an amazing week, and without further ado, let's just get on right into it. Breaking news had circulated the NFL world yesterday. Big, major news. But before we even get into this, if this is you guys' first time here, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you like what you see today. And would help the cause as well. And the best thing about it is they're all free. So make sure whatever respective platform you're watching on, whether it be Kick, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, make sure you guys drop us a like. That being said, though, guys, major news has broken. We got Micah Parsons getting traded to the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys will receive 2 first-round picks along with Kenny Clark, and he gets $186 million from the Packers. I believe that is probably, if not, it's the biggest outside of the quarterback, the biggest contract. I'm going to just open it up to you guys. Let's just get into the news. Let's start with you, Mac. Where were you when you first heard the news? I know this was being talked about in circles for the last probably couple of weeks, but boy, did it shock all of us. No one knew it would actually happen, and boy did it. So that being said, Mac, what's your thoughts on it when it first broke, and then pass the mic over to Adam?
When it first broke, I had to look at my phone twice, do a double take, because I couldn't believe what I just saw come across my phone. Sitting on my couch, chilling, relaxing. Had no plans on getting up and doing the damn thing, but as soon as that news broke, I had to get up immediately and make a YouTube short real quick because it was just absolutely crazy. I've been talking about it a lot for the last couple of days now. Jerry Jones is just an idiot. I feel like this is it. He just screwed this up big time. I know you got a haul. You got the big haul. You got 2 first-round picks. You got the damn guy, I can't even remember his name right now, the D-tackle, whatever.
Kenny Clark?
Yeah, Kenny Clark, yeah, him. I get that, but at the end of the day, those 2 first-round picks could turn out to be busts when it's all said and done. You know Micah Parsons is on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. I just think this thing spiraled completely out of control. Jerry Jones has to figure something out, man. His old school mentality, it's just not. That's not the way business is conducted in today's NFL, man. And this got to a point where it didn't need to go. And unfortunately, it resulted in them trading Micah Parsons, a player of that caliber. You just don't see players of that caliber at this point in at this points in their career like this getting traded. That's not today's NFL. But occasionally you see weird things like it happen, and you just saw it yesterday, something that's still just mind-blowing to me that's what it came to.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts on the whole situation, Adam?
Well, like Mac, I was shocked as well. But, it's interesting when you get the facts, and we'll get all the story at some point, but when you get the facts that they had a deal in place and he thought he was going to be the highest paid guy and they were going to give him a guaranteed money. Again, this is Jerry Jones, we're talking about. I think he, in principle, had a deal. Now, Micah probably, said, sure, okay, not realizing that Jerry had agreed to the terms, whatever they were negotiating, right? And then apparently Jerry Jones said that then Micah Parsons gets on the phone and said, let's negotiate. Meanwhile, Jerry thought he was already negotiating, already had something in place. And so, Jerry Jones does what Jerry Jones does, right? If the guy's not happy here and he's going to be a distraction, because let's be honest, it's going to be a distraction either way because he's gone. So the Cowboys are always going to be scrutinized regardless, right? But at the same time, they didn't pay him the money that he wanted, which, I'm not necessarily crazy about, but he had a deal in place and Micah went back to his people, and Athletes First is known to get the mega deals. And they were like, no, 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 wait, right? And then, I'm sure they had a deal before the Watt deal came out. And then the Watt deal came out, and then he was like, okay, I'm better than Watt, because Jerry was like, I was going to give him more guaranteed money, you know? And no man's right. A handshake's a handshake. We can say change our ways all you want, but if there in certain states, a handshake agreement is a legally binding contract. So if you agree to terms and you shake hands and say we agree, now all you're doing is writing the framework of the deal, because you've already agreed to the deal. We shook on the deal. The deal is sealed. Boom. Then you go back to your agent and then completely rip that deal up. Now, I'm sure legality purposes, they knew that maybe the handshake agreement is not fully guaranteed, but I know in certain states this is to be true, that if I shake hands with, let's say, you, Mac, and we agreed on, I don't know, buying a house or something, and I reneged on the deal, and a handshake agreement is a binding agreement, then you get sued. It's just like an email. If I sell you something on the email and we agree, and I hit like yes after we agree to terms, that's a binding contract. So Jerry, while we may not agree with it, thought he was paying his player the right way. And then, of course, Micah kind of got in his own feelings and, wanted more money. And Jerry's like, you know what? Let's just play Philadelphia. So do I, think Jerry Jones is wrong? I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. But I understand where he comes from. And I'm not going to ask an 80-year-old man to all of a sudden change his ways, because he's not going to do that. Right. I mean, he grew up he went on the podium yesterday and was like, this could be a Herschel Walker all over again. And for all we know, who knows? They have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts, 5 in the next 3, right? If you count. They even said they can go get somebody now. Now, I don't know if that's what they want to do. I have no idea what they're thinking. I think they're going to try to win as many games this year. And if it falls apart, they have enough draft capital to move up and get a quarterback and, get some quality players. They know how to draft. When they found Micah Parsons, they found their offensive lineman. Do they hit on every draft pick? No, but they know how to draft. So for me, if I'm a Cowboy fan, and some of the Cowboy fans I've been talking to weren't really upset with the deal for whatever reason, I know as a Giant fan, I probably would have been like angry, saying, "Oh shit, what is Joe Shane doing? This idiot." But Jerry is thinking for the future, and whether you agree with him or not, he's always going to do what the Cowboys do. And it's true. He is right. Micah Parsons wins with the Cowboys. He don't got to do nothing. Emmitt Smith is still making money on Doritos ads and all this stuff. So, we'll see how he does. Does he fit in Green Bay's system? Is he going for a money grab? Will this elevate the Green Bay Packers? We only talk about the Cowboys, but we never talk about the Packers. What has it done for the Packers? They're now cap strapped because they had to pay their quarterback. They now have Micah Parsons. So they better win now, because they've also paid Xavier McKinney and a lot of high price free agents. This team needs to win, right? The Cowboys, like someone mentioned, I know I'm rambling on here. I'll try to land this plane right now. Is the Cowboys are worth money just by being on the Cowboys. They can be bad and everybody talks about them, right? It doesn't matter. Packers aren't the same, like in that regard. Packers are good, but when the Packers are really, really bad, it's just sad, because we see one of NFL's historic franchises being bad. When the Cowboys are bad, it don't matter. They're always going to get primetime games and primetime spots. So I understand why Jerry Jones, a man of his principle, dealt with a person one-on-one as a man-to-man and had a man-to-man agreement. And the young man went back and decided he didn't want to do it, and the athletes first got him. Now, again, I'm happy because he's out of the NFC East. And if you look at the NFC East, the Giants, if they're smart, they just play their cards right the next 2 years. They might be the team looking at the top, right? Because of how they're building. So I don't expect much, not to talk about the Giants. I don't expect much from them now. But what I'm saying is you see all the change that's happening. I never thought, like Max said, this would happen. But, we'll see. This is the biggest move to me. I mean, in my football life, maybe the Herschel Walker trade was big. This reminds me of Reggie White. When the first free agency started, right? And he went from the vaunted Eagles, and the Eagles are never going to get rid of Reggie White and Jerome Brown, and next thing you know, he's going to Titletown and goes on to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that Micah's going to do that, but that's how it feels to me. It's a colossal, huge move.
Well said, both of you guys. Absolutely, this is a major news. The biggest trade in my lifetime of watching football. We're gonna get into our top defensive players here next, but to touch on this first, everybody on this podcast. Everybody on this podcast probably got him in their list of the 5 top defensive players when we go over that. And just to touch on what Adam said, for Cowboys fans, I think they're just downplaying it because they know deep down inside that they did lose a stud. They did lose the gel of their defense, the defense that offensive coordinators spend all night preparing for. There's 2 draft picks, but at the end of the day, like there's nobody in the last 5 drafts that was Micah Parsons on defense outside of Micah Parsons. So he's just different level of talent. I'm not even gonna sit up here and talk about Abdul Carter yet. The guy hasn't even done a single thing in football yet. He has to prove himself. So 2 draft picks, I still wouldn't have done it. That's how much I value Micah Parsons. He's a difference maker. I just feel that this is a loss for Dallas. As far as the Cowboy goes, Adam's absolutely right. This is a loss for Dallas. At the end of the day, this is not a loss for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the Cowboys. The Cowboys is the number 1 franchise in all of sports. That includes Real Madrid. That includes all these other big soccer programs or football programs overseas. That includes all the cricket teams. Cricket, one of the biggest sports in the world. The Cowboys is the biggest franchise in all of sports. Now, Green Bay, Adam's right, is historically an NFL franchise, but you go out of the NFL, no one's really going to talk about Green Bay. You go in Africa, people know who the Cowboys is. Long story short, I mean, like Jerry Jones, he obviously, it's his team. He can do whatever he wants with it. And you know what? This just makes him relevant in the offseason. So now the offseason is the Cowboys. The Cowboys already won next year's offseason. Jerry Jones is going to be talked about, and that's what they want, right? They want to be in the news. So go right ahead, Adam. I think you had something else to say.
I'm just curious because No Mets mentioned something that I had a conversation about with somebody. And it's like, we look at Micah Parsons. He dominated his first year, like was absolutely dominant. And he's still a dominant player. But why? I asked myself, why do they keep taking him out of the game? Like, if for a player that's so dominant, and we compare to LT never came off the field. LT was never taken. Derek Thomas never taken off the field. But there are stretches of games where we're watching Micah Parsons stand on the sideline for 2 or 3 drives in a game, and I'm just wondering, is that to keep, because the Cowboys defense can continue to function without him. They've done it before with injuries and things like that. It's not like they don't have talent over there. They just don't have him over there. But then when I watch the Cowboys defense, he makes some game-wrecking plays. But why is he not? I even asked the Cowboys, why is he never on the field? If we rarely want to take Dexter Lawrence off the field, right?
Never.
We don't want to do that. If we have to, we have to because he's human. Obviously that and a man that huge needs some reps here and there off.
Especially when Daniel Jones was our quarterback that was on the field for 9 minutes.
Well, right. Regardless of that,
his rest. He's going to need his rest.
Most teams are going to try to keep their best players on the field.
Absolutely.
So I'm just curious: is Green Bay going to play him for 700 snaps in a game, 1,000 snaps a year? Because if that limits his effectiveness, then you're not getting the same player that we're looking at, right? Or because when we look at Micah Parsons, we're like, oh, he's dominant. Then you go watch the film back, and you're like, why is he off for stretches? And it's not necessarily because he's a breather or he's tired. I mean, the guy is a machine. He's a machine. He shouldn't be, to me, he shouldn't be off. And this is not just with him. This is with all the defensive coordinators. He was like that. So I'm wondering if he goes to Green Bay, what his role will be and how many snaps is he going to play? Are they going to utilize him the same way as the Cowboys did? Because if you don't, and let's say he plays, 70 snaps a game, and he's less effective than when he plays 40 snaps a game. But in those 40 snaps, those other 30 snaps, your defense is weak without him. It's like a catch-22. So I'm just wondering, that was just something that I brought up in conversation with a friend of mine. Like, why was he off the field? It made no sense.
Well, look, I want to address another comment by No Mets up here too.
Go right ahead.
Because to me, this is a crock. To me, it's a crock because it's not up to. This is on Jerry Jones. It's not on Micah Parsons because this is 2025. This is not back in the day. I'm talking directly to you. Micah Parsons has representatives. No, you don't see other GMs around the league having this issue, except for Cincinnati. Whatever the fuck goes on in Cincinnati, I can't even wrap my head around that nonsense. But other GMs don't have this issue. You go and you get on the damn phone or whatever, you set up a meeting and you talk to his representatives. That's what you do. You don't try to cut out the middleman. You talk to the man that Micah Parsons has hired in place to take care of negotiations and whatnot. So it's on Jerry Jones. Stop trying to be like, this is bad. Oh, I'm just talking to you. I know you got an agent and all, but I'm not going to talk to that guy. I'm going to talk to you and you, kid. And okay, you're okay with it? Okay, good. Even though I know you have an agent who may let you inform you otherwise and let you know that. So just do what you got to do and do it the right way. I mean, that's just what it is. That's the world we live in now. It's the world we live in now. It's the world we live in now.
That's fine. That's fine, Mac. It's fine to say that's the world we live in. But again, you're talking about a billionaire owner who is 80 years old and is not going to be. He's going to be set in his ways. That's just what he's going to do.
This is why you lose your best player. This is why you lose your best player.
That's
right. But he also signed CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, so you knew he might not have been able to sign a third player at this high level, which is what we thought when he signed Dak Prescott. So now, how do we know he didn't do those same agreements with both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb? That's how he conducts and do business, right? If Micah Parsons didn't want to do it, he didn't have to do that. He could have said, talk to my agent. He negotiated in good faith with Jerry Jones. Now, whether you want to agree, whether it's his fault or not, you have representation as well. He is the boss of those agents. He could fire them tomorrow and say, you know what, I don't like what's going down. If he wanted to be a Cowboy, he could be a Cowboy. He absolutely could.
He could fire his agent.
Cowboy. Right.
But at the same time, he also hired that agent to have his best interest in hand. So that's what it means. So that's what I mean.
But if you like,
deal with the guy that you're supposed to deal with. Deal with the right people.
Well, he better be good. He better be good in Green Bay.
I see both.
I don't see why he wouldn't be.
Yeah, I see both points, and also
great player.
He's got to be better. I mean, but Mac, he was utilized differently in Dallas than he will be in Green Bay, and it's just you can't just say to me that he's going to just get the defense tomorrow. Right, he'll be an effective player because he's great, obviously, but he's still got to learn the defense. He's still got to live up to now this contract. And now, like I said, his snap count, it might go up where he might be not as effective as he normally is.
As it should. And I also think, too, it's like the writing was kind of on the wall, too. Like, yeah, it was so hard to believe it, right? Like, you guys talked about it on NFC East Roundup. We talked about it on Premium Takes a couple of times. Like, we all kind of knew that Green Bay was in the mix. We all knew that they was putting together a package. But at the end of the day, we never knew it was actually going to happen. And what I think when it did happen, you can kind of see the writings on the walls, right? When he, like a lot of players, they'll take the name off their social medias and stuff. But when he really was like writing letters to the fans and he really was in his feelings about like Adam said, like you had that verbal agreement with Jerry Jones. And then obviously, like Max said, it's like, hello, I have a handshake. Yes. Hello, I have an agent. Talk to my agent. Jerry Jones doesn't want to talk to the agent. So I see both sides. But what I want to talk to on is like all, over the last, I would say all of my life, it's been the AFC North. It's been the NFC West right? It's been out. I'm sorry. What did I say best? NFC East, our division. It's been the AFC North, but I kind of feel like now it's like let's really zoom in on the NFC North, guys, because I really truly believe that the NFC North is going to be a tough division, and it's really a tough division. But the Lions and the Vikings, it's not clear path to winning the division no more because Micah Parsons is in town, and that's how much I believe that he can wreck the game for teams like the Bears as well, with young Caleb Williams and a first timer head coach in Ben Johnson. But at the end of the day, any last thoughts on Micah Parsons before we move on to our other topics?
I do think it's interesting you mentioned the NFC North, because I do think they're a sleeping giant over there because they are in the North and they don't have the teams that are normally talked about. But Minnesota went 14-3 last year. You know, Detroit went 15-1 or some 15-2 or some crazy shit. And then they had Green Bay, who snuck into the playoffs as well, who people tend to forget about. So it's going to be interesting to follow, because right now the NFL is going to be following Michael Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what happens. That is going to be followed every week until I don't know, until something happens, right? And until Green Bay hosts the Lombardi Trophy, because that's what they want to see. And this trade is like Barkley to me. I didn't think Barkley was going to leave, or the Giants were going to not be able to sign him or get a deal done. And the next thing you know, he's signing a deal with Philadelphia, right? And we didn't get any compensation. The Cowboys did. And you have a guy, maybe he wasn't happy here. So my last thoughts are, it's the Cowboys. I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody really is surprised with Jerry Jones and what he's done. I'm not going to tell a man needs to change when he is a billionaire owner and people throw themselves at the Cowboys to be in that brand and that logo. So he does things the way he's done things. Until Jerry Jones is dead, that's how things will be run. And so he's not afraid to make bold moves and bold swings. And here we go. Never thought I'd see the day, but Jerry Jones does it again.
Well said, both of you guys. I bought the boys to bring their top 5 defensive players actively in the league right now. But before we get into that conversation, guys, I did want to give a couple announcements. Next week's episode, we are gonna be a faster episode. We're mostly just gonna be previewing, our rewards, offensive rookie of the year, MVP type stuff. We're gonna previewing our divisions, and we're going to touch on the Giants and Redskins game and games of the week. So on this episode, what you guys are going to get is at the end of the episode, we are going to take a little bit of time to talk about the depth chart of the Giants, but you're just going to get a lot of previews of the NCAA, obviously Micah Parsons talk, and then we're going to preview the Cowboys versus Philly game towards mid-show as well. But that being said, before we get into our top defensive players, another player has broken history, becoming the highest paying safety. Kyle Hamilton has signed an official contract with the Ravens for, I believe it's 4 years, $100 million, if I'm correct, 3 years, $100 million. But he just became the highest paying safety. We don't have to stay on this too long. It's not really, really big news like Micah Parsons. I just want to give this guy a shout out. Teams like the Bengals that can't even pay their people, you got the crosstown rivals paying theirs. So shout out to Kyle Hamilton. Anything you guys want to say on Kyle before you move on?
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Okay. Beautiful. That being said, guys, we are gonna go into our 5 best active defensive players of in the NFL. I was gonna say of all time, but that's not the assignment because we all know Lawrence Taylor would be on top. That being said, though, I'm gonna go top down. I'm gonna go number 1 being my best, but I'm gonna start with 5th. I even have a list pulled up. I'm gonna say my list and then I'm gonna refill it for you guys can see it. Okay, at number 5. Reason why I got him at number 5 is because I believe he is one of the best defensive backs in all of football. I got Patrick Surtain. He's a lockdown cornerback. He's a lockdown cornerback, the best cornerback in the National Football League. And some people will be like, oh, it's on the defense he plays on. No. This guy is a stud. Sauce Gardner is a stud too, but you see how names come up and they just fade away. This guy's name never faded away. His entire NFL career, he was always mentioned as one of the top cornerbacks, and he's backing it up every single year. So at number 5, I have Patrick Surtain. At my 4th best defensive player, this one hits home. I didn't know if I was going to rank him above, put him at 3, but I just ended up leaving him at 4. I just think Dexter Lawrence. I have Dexter Lawrence at number 4. Enough said. I mean, like, the guy never clearly ever gets one-on-ones. He always has 4 hands on him. He's always have to dealing with like for 2 bodies on him, always double teamed. You go and then you look at his career in the NFL. Every single year he's improving, moving up on the 100 top 100 players. This year I believe he got 17. I believe truly, nothing against Chris Jones, but he's the best D tackle in football. I think the last time we've seen someone the great like him, I'm gonna say it is Aaron Donald. No, he's not at Aaron Donald's level yet, but he still has a career to play. We'll see where he ends up. And it's a different kind of same position, but kind of different position. But that being said, though, number 3, we have the player that just got traded to Green Bay. I got Micah Parsons. I mean, like, we spent a whole segment on him. I don't even need to explain. I mean, like, the 1, 2, and 3 could really be intermatched, but I'm gonna put Micah Parsons at 3. Number 2, I mean, like, if you guys don't have him on your list, I don't even know what to tell you guys. Myles Garrett is going to be number 2. This guy has over 100 sacks, absolutely record. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. The guy's going to find a way to get to the quarterback. And even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, the pressure of Myles Garrett is just it's amazing to be seen. All right, and then number 1, I think this is the best defensive player in all of football right now. I got TJ Watt. I got TJ Watt as my top 5, as my number 1 pick. Just what the guy does is absolutely amazing. 100, I believe he has 109, if I'm right, sacks in his career, really. Still not even 30, if I'm correct. He might be 30. But that being said, that's gonna round out my top 5. So in order right there, I got at number 5, I got Patrick Surtain, Dexter Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, and then TJ Watt. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Adam. Adam, what is your top 5 best active defensive players?
Well, I mean, a lot of them were to be very similar to yours. Number 1 for me is Myles Garrett. I just think he's arguably an unblockable defensive player. Never comes off the field. I guess my number 2 would probably be TJ Watt. Love what he does for the Steelers. He got paid as a highest paid player. I do like Micah Parsons, so I'll put him at 3 just for this ranking. But sometimes I feel like Micah should be higher on this list, but he hasn't played like that yet. I'm going to add somebody from the outside, not the outside, the middle. I'm going to take Fred Warner as a middle linebacker, number 4. Guy is a beast, but plays for the 49ers. They had a bit of a down season, so we'll go with that. And number 5, you mentioned him already, Patrick Surtain. I think he's just an underrated player that doesn't have as flashy of a personality as Sauce Gardner. So he's not, I think, recognized the same way. He's recognized by his peers, but in the overall scope of how people look at Patrick Surtain, a true football fan knows Patrick Surtain, right? But if you're an outside casual person, you may not know who he is or his lineage or his history or anything like that. So those are my 5. Myles, TJ, Micah, Fred, and Patrick.
That's a great 5. I love that. Go right ahead, Mac.
Well, look, just for the sake of time, we all have the same exact top 3. Not mine are the exact same order as yours. Zion, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons for me, in that order, my top 3. At number 4, got Roquan Smith. I just think Roquan Smith is an absolute game disruptor, game wrecker over there in Baltimore. I mean, he's one of those guys that I also kind of wondered back when Chicago let him kind of get away, man. Just like, how'd you let this guy just get away? I mean, this dude right here is just one of the premier players in the league. And then 5, man. Yeah, it might be a bit of a homer pick, but I just, like you said, Dexter Lawrence to me is just what he does and the impact that he has when he's not on the field for the New York Giants. You can see it immediately. You always know when Dexter Lawrence is not on the field for the New York Giants. And to me, that stands out as to why I got him brought him in at number 5, man.
I love
Sorry,
that.
little guys.
Yeah, I got T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett, Michael Parsons, Raekwon Smith, and Dexter Lawrence. That's a great list. I love it how you brought in Raekwon Smith, and I love it how Adam you brought in Fred Warner. Both respected players that I totally blanked when I was thinking of mine. So I love that. But you can tell, right? And if we can all agree, I'm not trying to get back into this, but I don't think we're gonna put CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott on our top 5 offensive players. So who you paying, Jerry Jones? But now I'm just joking. That being said, though, let's get into a little bit of college football, and then we're gonna get into the Eagles and Cowboys game. You want to say something? That? Yes.
This is not football related. This is something else. It's been one of the biggest news stories of the week. Mr. Rajah Jackson, son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, had an incident last weekend at an independent wrestling show, and it's. I'm sure most people know what I'm talking about here. I mean, the wrestler in the back, they were in the back. Rajah doing his little kick stream, and wrestler didn't know who he was. Thought he was a worker. Came over there and thought it was time for a little spot, and he crushed a little prop can over his head or whatever. Harmless. At the end of the day, still kind of rude considering you don't know who this man is, just cracking a can over his head, whatever. Okay, blah, 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 whatever. All right, they hug it out. They eventually end up hugging it out. The Rajah was pissed off, but he didn't really do anything at the time other than just be mad. But, over time, he shook his hands, hugged it out, whatever. They said, okay, Rajah, we'll make you a part of the show now later on. When he's wrestling, you can go in the ring and you can kind of get your receipt a little bit. Okay, fair enough. Well, like this is a couple hours later, and the guy's wrestling, Psycho still in the ring wrestling, and then Rajah enters the ring and he slams him on his head. Dude is out immediately, already knocked out immediately, and Rajah mounts him and literally pummels this man with about 20 plus just haymakers. Right in his face. I mean, literally almost killed this man while being recorded live on his kick stream. I just wanted to bring it up because over the week, a lot of coverage has been on this. People actually out there trying to validate this man's actions as if, okay, it's one thing, I get it, you're pissed off, you know what I mean? And like you, in the moment, like if you would have just tagged that dude right in the moment when he crushed the can over your head, I don't think anybody will make any kind of a story about it at all. Because you have every right to be pissed off in that moment and you just fucked that and hauled off and hit him after he did that shit to you in the back. But the fact that a couple hours later, all of a sudden now you want to go and you go in the ring after, and it's something that was agreed upon between the wrestler, the promotion, whatever, that you was going to go enter the ring now, become part of the show, whatever. To go in there and attack that man in such a way when he's expecting you to come in the ring, but he's not expecting you to nearly kill his ass. And to me, people trying to validate it, say, oh, no, he shouldn't have hit that can over his head. Well, guess what? Rajah didn't do anything in the moment about that can over his head. It was a prop can anyway. It was harmless. Like he said, when he said, you could hear him say it clearly. Oh, it didn't even hurt or nothing, but it's just like, whatever. And then, like I said, the point of the handshaking, what are you shaking this man's hand for if you feel like later on you're going to still damn near kill him? This shit to me is disrespectful, and the people that are trying to validate it and make it seem like he had every right to do what he did. No, that's bullshit. You nearly killed a man because he crushed a fake can over your fucking head. And it was just, it was a mistake. He didn't know. He didn't know who you were. He thought that was what he was supposed to do in that moment. He thought it was just him going and doing what wrestlers do. I don't know what wrestlers do in the back, what the hell they do, honestly, and but at the same time, it was an honest mistake. And you almost took this man's life. And then, like I said, to have people out here validating it and trying to be like it's okay, it's not okay with me from the human perspective. I mean, that's unstable and that's just crazy work.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you just
it's borderline psychotic almost. It's like to plan it out in a vengeance way, right? It's like 3 hours later, and then it's like, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take the take away from but like you guys know, right? The mat, the canvas is that thin, and then it's just straight wood. So it's like the guy clearly got knocked out. His head hit the back of the damn canvas, clearly knocked out, and it's just full blown punches that clearly, when you get knocked out, it's your brain saving your life. And then now it's like it's damn assault. He should be in jail. I don't agree with anybody trying to defend him. There's a difference between a show and entertainment, and then assault. That was clearly assault on Kick. I know Kick is really lenient with their bans, but they should ban him for life. I think he should be locked up in a jail cell right now. And for anybody that's trying to defend him, I don't know what the fuck you was looking at. I couldn't even watch the real video. I watched the video with it being blurred out, and I was absolutely disgusted. And this is a fan of the diehard hardcore of the UFC, but in the UFC, the safety and concerns and rules, and as soon as they're out, the referee's right there to pull them off. And I'm not trying to go on and attack the referee or anything like that, because the referee was in pure shock as well. All the wrestlers in the ring was in shock. Nobody knew at that time what the hell was going on. And I seen the referee was trying to get in, and then the guy came, another wrestler was trying to pull him off of him. But that's just disgusting. I love the fact that you brought it up, and I love the fact that you're addressing it, because it needs to be addressed. And anybody defending it or saying it's all show, it's clearly not a show, and it's just fucking disgusting.
Well, I heard about the events, and I listened to a wrestler who was actually there, that night, and he said that it should have been squashed after the hug was done, right? After you hugged the man out and he apologized to you, whatever, he thought it was a work. He even told you that, right? He thought it was the cameras rolling, blah, 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 right? Now, you can agree to disagree. This happens all the time with wrestlers now and celebrities, okay? And so, with that being said, this promotion is not as established as other promotions. So maybe they haven't trained their talent. That guy came in with no talent, no training, only his MMA training. So the way he's slamming that wrestler down is not the same way a wrestler would slam that wrestler down. So hence why he got injured with the concussion. The other thing is he was egged on in the back in the video by some little cowboy wearing hat guy to say, "Get your receipt, get your receipt." Well, if you're not in the wrestling business, you don't really know what that is, and you don't know when to stop that receipt. Every wrestler has done it who's been in the pro wrestling business. Go from Hulk Hogan, Undertaker talks about it all the time. If you punch a guy in the face or knee him in the face or give him an actual blow, that's a real blow and not the choreographed movements that they're doing, they give you what they call a receipt. How they give it to you, when they give it to you, you'll never know. But maybe they'll give you a little bit more English on that, that cross body or that body slam to get their receipt. But after that, it's over. You continue on with the event. This guy did not. He sat there waiting for his cue to go in the ring, listening to fans call him names. He couldn't handle that. Oh, the guy hit you with a beer can. Just getting really. This is why social media is becoming toxic. Listening to all the toxicity that's going on, right? And now he's a young man who probably in a world of MMA cannot back down. Had a dad in MMA, who obviously told him not to back down, and it gets built up, built up, built up. Now he goes into the ring unrehearsed and does all this stuff, and then goes overboard, and then doesn't stop and continues to justify that he was in the right. This guy was completely wrong, completely out of his element, and regardless of what people say, he was wrong. He has anger problems. He has to go seek help, and he probably should be in jail, to be honest with you. Even his dad said he probably going to jail. I don't know why they haven't charged the man. But when we talk about wrestling and we watch wrestling, you all know that we're fans of, the WWE and AEW and some of the superstars there. They will all tell you that, you need to rehearse. This is not something that you can just come in and do, right? And if Stu, who's not a skinny guy, is a heavy-set guy, so we don't know. Maybe he's not catching that guy right. If he were to body slam him normal, probably not getting a concussion. But because he's an MMA fighter and he doesn't know the proper technique, that's what happened. And then he goes overboard with punching him in the face. So
respectfully, listening to the whole tape, I've seen so much footage on this. He went in there with the intent to hurt the man. He went in the ring with the intent to hurt the man. He's on his stream. There's footage of him on his stream. Should I slam him? Should I slam him? How many more subs? How many more subs should I ask for? 50 more subs and I knock him out. You know what I mean? Like, that's premeditation.
Right.
That's premeditation. He went in there with the intent to hurt the man. Point blank and period. He should be imprisoned because he committed a crime. It is a crime. It is criminal what he did. The point, if you wanted to get your receipt, the time to get your receipt was when he crushed that can over your head and you got your receipt right then and there, right on the spot. Not 2 hours later after you come to some agreement that we're going to let you come in the ring and do a little be part of the show and after you shook hands with the man. The man apologized to you like 3 times during the whole process as well. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, absolutely ridiculous. They said.
So to me, there's no excuse for his actions. There's nothing anybody can say to make it to say that to validate what he did. It was absolutely criminal.
Disgusting.
You are responsible for the choices you make as an adult. And sometimes we don't know if that's going to be the best choice we ever make in our life or the worst choice we're ever going to make in our life. And that right there, folks, was one of the worst choices the guy could ever make in his life. Being hyped up off of emotion, off of adrenaline because of his fans on kick. And almost, like Max said, attempting to plan it out that right there and to knock him out, but then you knocked him out. And I mean, like, it depends on the state, but that might be attempted murder. That might be, you're looking at 10 to 15 to 20. And probably that attempted murder is sometimes charged more than murder. So that being said, it's probably closer to the 15 to 20 years. Just how Henry Ruggs wanted to get into that vehicle and drive and not think about the actions that could change your life forever is just fucking sad, man.
Was that guy press charges? I mean, like, I know that the cops haven't found him, but if I got assaulted that badly, I would be pressing charges regardless of what California.
Things I've read early on is he's not really interested in pressing charges. The things I read about Psycho Stu is not necessarily looking to press charges. Look, that's a decision for him to make, obviously, but look, this is ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I saw when I first time I watched that. I was
that's why I'm mad. I want Stu to press charges because this behavior shouldn't be getting away with. Because this behavior needs to be disciplined. All right, you want to go fight somebody, go in the yard with a bunch of the inmates. You can go fight them. You can fight them all you want. They're not going to care. No one's going to care that you fight with them. But
that's true, though. It is a gray area because in the UFC, sorry, Adam, in the UFC, if they fight, like if fighters fight backstage, they don't really like. Conor McGregor true fucking shit at buses. Like it is a gray area because
How's Baldwin be in jail?
It is a gray area. I believe in that, but I still think it's attempted murder. But you're absolutely right. My bad, Adam.
Well, think about this, right? Alec Baldwin, if you're going to use this example, was on a set and had a prop. He, the gun malfunctioned or shot, whatever. He pointed at somebody and shot him, right? Mm-hmm. So you're on a movie set. That's different than going to a pro wrestling ring and slamming a guy down, being an MMA fighter, and then just pummeling him. He wasn't going to stop until those guys pulled him off. Imagine if those wrestlers didn't pull him off.
Exactly. He would have continued to hit him.
Yeah. And I agree with you guys on that. But I think in Jeff Harris, it was like that, but it's almost as it's kind of like cops at a football game or like cops backstage at UFC. They're not gonna arrest UFC fighters for throwing fists to each other. This is totally different though, what the boys are saying, Jeff Harris. This guy literally assaulted someone. So it's their business. It is the wrestler's business and the wrestler's promotion business, but the wrestling promotion is not outside of the Constitution. So no matter what private property or what private event, that's not outside of the Constitution. Now, if they held that private event in international waters, then okay, they're outside of the Constitution. But this is American soil, and this guy attempted murder on American soil. Well, by law, this guy should be in jail.
But what I don't understand is, at what point do you in your mind stop? Right? It's not like you're in the MMA.
Well, he's probably seeing red. He don't even know what's going on. He's just hidden.
Like, okay, so then you're a person that shouldn't be around a violent contact sport if you don't understand it. Because if you're going to snap like that in an instant after you premeditatedly did this because you're mad about a beer can that you can't get over, right? Then you shouldn't be around there. And I blame whoever was responsible for putting that show together, right? And allowing that man to be there. And then the wrestlers who did not, fan the flames, who kind of got him going as well to keep him going, which also then enraged him. And then everything culminated with the social media posts and then him raging out and doing all that stuff. So there was many events that could have stopped this car wreck that were not handled properly. And it was Rikishi's school. I'm not blaming Rikishi. I guarantee you he doesn't run a school like that. And, I'm sure that, first off, he probably will never be invited back, but they'll probably never invite any of celebrities outside in that little wrestling promotion anymore until they figure this out. And if you're in the wrestling business and you've been a wrestler, go listen to Undertaker's podcast. He articulates wrestling very well. Guys are in there not to hurt each other. How are you going to say, keep my life safe today? Right?
Yeah.
I've got to trust you with my body because that's what I'm doing. When you get a guy in here who's already angry for no reason and mad and keep going and then goes in there and attempts to murder a guy, that's not what the wrestling business is. And that guy's not ready. He couldn't protect himself. He couldn't do anything because of this lunatic. And this guy's a lunatic. I don't think he should be in MMA. If I'm MMA, I'd ban him from fighting.
He already has been banned from the UFC for
a lifetime ban.
They took some kind of, I don't know if they took action on him already. The UFC did already.
Right? Like you can never become professional in that organization. Something like that. As far as this kick though, it's on the user. I get Mets, but people had died on stream. Logan Paul's situation on YouTube. It's on the respective user. So it's in the terms of agreement that the host website can't be responsible for all the actions of the terms of the user. So it's on the user because there's been some incidents on Twitch that's been on the user, and then obviously Kick. It's not on Kick. It's Kick. Anybody can have a kick. Kick can't control everybody, and they're not there to control. They're just there to offer a program, and his life changed that night. That's how I would share. Kick probably already banned him. Every major event probably already banned him, and he has to deal with the law enforcement at this point already. And justice will be served. And when it is served, we'll give you guys the update. Any last thoughts on the situation? And thank you for bringing it up, Mac.
It's disgusting.
I'm done with it.
Well said. All right, guys. I just wanted to go over a few things. College football has officially begun. We're not gonna cover too long on it. I would say at least 20 minutes, but I'm gonna take the first 5, recapping some games that happened in week 0. Week 0 is basically week 1. I don't know why they call it week 0, but we just go with it. All right, week 0. Last Saturday. Only game I'm gonna talk about is 2 games. The first game and the last game. Iowa State, nice bounce back victory against Kansas State. It was a back and forth game the whole time. As you see, Avery Johnson going out there slinging it, 273 yards. I'm yelling at my TV. There's a time late in the fourth quarter. I'm not really yelling at my TV that much. I'm just saying in the fourth quarter, I don't really care about these two teams. But that being said, the coach is literally down in the 10-yard line, and he literally has the opportunity to take the points. This is Iowa State and go up. Be up on KSU, but he chooses to go for it, and it pays off. I get why he went for it at the end, because he didn't want KSU to drive down the field and score. But just opening aggressive like that, it was really nice to see a coach come out there and believe in his team, and that's exactly what Iowa State's coach did. He believed in his team. He went out there on 4th down. He called a nice play. They scored a touchdown, and that was the game. So KSU loses to Iowa State. A bunch of games in between that we don't care about. I want to talk about Stanford for Hawaii because the whole news in the off season was Rich Frank got hired, head coach of the coach got hired at Stanford. He's going to be the head coach there. Andrew Luck is now going to be their GM. All that yada yada yada. But the big news was coming out of Hawaii. What the whole island was excited for was Micah. Micah, literally Bishop Gorman alumni, over 125 touchdowns in his high school career. He had only 4 interceptions on top of that. Absolutely fun game to watch. Gets hurt in the ending of the second quarter, and he doesn't want to remove himself from the field. I mean, like, this guy literally is on the field. It looks like they're about to bring the ambulance out. It looks like he's going to be out for the season. Then he gets up on one leg and limps off the field, and he plays the rest of the second half literally on one leg, limping off and on the field. This guy, they called him the golden boy in high school. I don't see him playing at his Hawaii all of his collegiate career. I can see him playing probably a season or two at Hawaii and then probably getting transferred to Ohio State or one of these top big time programs. But if he does stay at Hawaii, I would say this: Hawaii does have a real one. True freshman, only in his sophomore year. So he was a redshirt last year. So he's not a true freshman. I'm sorry, in his sophomore season. But definitely, woke the nation up. That being said, though, Boise State absolutely drops the ball against South Florida. Boise State definitely lost a lot of turnover on their roster, especially with Gentry going in the NFL. They should have went out there and handled business against South Florida, but I don't know what the fuck happened with them. That being said, first 25 team to score, and that leaves room for SC to move up. That being said, that's what I really only wanted to cover about Thursday, week 0. I mean, like, a lot of games we don't really care about. We do, but we don't. Let's just be honest. There's a few games on tonight. I mean, we got Colorado playing Georgia Tech right now. I was watching that a little bit earlier before the stream. Obviously not really major games, but we can't wait for the rest of the college football season. That really, I mean, like, yeah, we get it. College football started last week Thursday, but no. It really starts tomorrow, fam. It really starts tomorrow because that was like literally watching like Division 3. Now we get to watch actually good football. And what I mean by that is we got 2 games that we're going to preview. We're not going to go super far in detail. We're just going to cover the game for a bit and predict the winner. I know the boys don't follow college football as much as I do, but I just want to get you guys' opinions on it. We got number 1 Texas versus number 3 Ohio State. Arch Manning makes his start for Texas. This is going to be the toughest game of his collegiate career, probably, going against the defending national champions. I mean, like, we got Caleb Downs right there. We got Jeremiah Smith right there. That being said, though, I'm going to take the Natties. I'm going to take the champions. As much as I like Manning, I think Manning's going to have a great game. I think Texas has an amazing roster. I think Texas has the best roster in all of college football, notable by their number 1. But, I mean, like, you got a team in Ohio State, bro, that's off of the Natty, bro. Texas Texas couldn't even barely get past Camp Scatterboo. I'm not trying to be mean, but I get it. I get it. Arch Manning is different, but I mean, like, I could see Arch Manning not struggling in this game, but just the defense not being able to stop the high, fast-paced offense of Ohio State. I'm gonna give a final score prediction. I'm gonna say Ohio State 34. I'm gonna say Texas 30. So it's gonna be a close game. Any one of these teams could win, fam, but I'm gonna say Ohio State takes it. Right over to you, Mac.
I mean, like you said, I don't really, do college football too much, but I know Arch Manning has been been on tip of everybody's tongue, especially New York Giant fans in particular for the last couple of years. Kid ain't even everybody was talking about Arch Manning before he even played a damn college football game. Well, here it is. He gets his opportunity. Big stage, no stage bigger than this. Ohio State, man. See what the kid's made of, man. If he's the guy that people seem to think that he is, these are the kind of games he's got to go out there and prove it. He's on the loaded Texas team, number 1, like you said, for a reason. With that being said, Ohio State is the defending champions, and they're not coming out there to take an L in their first game of the season, Arch Manning or not. So I agree with you. I think Ohio State's going to end up getting the edge here and knocking Texas down a peg.
Well said. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, I think it's interesting that you win the Natty and you rank number 3. And so if I'm the coach of Ohio State, I go into that locker room the night before the game, probably tonight, and I'd say, boys, look at what you've done. You are national champion. You're the defending champs, and you're the number 3 team. They didn't do anything. They couldn't beat, almost barely beat an Arizona team, barely beat an Arizona team, but yet the world is looking at you at number 3. The world is looking at you at number 3. They got Arch Manning, the golden boy, the golden child, the golden son, the prodigal son has returned to Texas. Well, boys, you go out there, we're going to go kick their ass and show them why we're the defending champs. Because to me, that's disrespectful. And whether or not they deserve to be number 1 via rankings, I don't know how that works. To me, you are the defending champs. You are the top team until proven otherwise. So if I'm the coach of the Ohio State team, I'm going in there and I'm using that as motivation, and I'm going to tell them that this is your moment. This is our natty because they won't live up to us. They are the media darlings with Arch Manning and their team and all this stuff. And Ohio State's been the forgotten child. They won the natty, and it's like, well, they lost Will Howard and things moved on, and haven't really heard about them. And here we are back at week 0, week 1, and they're number 3. So I think Ohio State's going to win. I don't even know. I'll predict 45-38. The Ohio State Buckeyes. I just think they have a good defense. I think their run anomaly, the moment's not too big for them. And Arch Manning has immense pressure on him in his first game against the defending champions. And if I'm the defending champions, I hate to say this, I go out and see what he's made of.
Absolutely. Well said, both of you guys. All right, you guys. Another big game to start off week 1 is gonna be the LSU Tigers versus Clemson. You guys already know my thoughts on Clemson, and honestly, my thoughts on LSU. I think both teams could be competing for the Natty, just like those 2 teams we seen earlier.
Yo.
Both of those teams could be competing for the Natty. And I honestly and thank you, Tudo. I'm sorry, man. Thank you so much for joining the show. And all you guys, no Mets, everybody in the chat,
Tudo?
man. J-Waz, like all of you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for joining and keeping the chat active. We really do respect that. We got Garen Musmeyer, we got Kate Klubnak, we got 2, I mean, like these guys could probably score points on Carolina. I'm being honest with you guys. I mean, like, and they're not going to beat Carolina Panthers, but they can put up a touchdown. Few. I think both of these rosters are just loaded. I mean, like, it's going to be a dogfight. It's really just going to come down to mistake-free football. That's really what it's going to come down to. Who is going to make the less mistakes? Because once a mistake happens, that could cost you the game. I don't really clearly have a winner yet in this game, but if I really had to choose, I'm gonna say Clemson gets it done by probably 3 points or a touchdown in a close game. I'm gonna probably say I'm gonna say close to like Adam's prediction for the first game. I'm gonna say like a 42-38 kind of prediction where both of these teams are gonna be putting up high scoring offense, but both of these teams have defense. So it could easily be a 13-19 type of game. But I don't know what kind of game it's going to be. All I know is I'm going to pick Clemson to win it, and I think this is probably going to be LSU's only loss on the season. I think LSU has that good of a roster that literally whoever loses this game or even the first game, it's not really going to matter that much at the end of the season because we've seen it before. Like if, two lost teams can get into the college football playoffs, and I think all of these 4 teams are powerhouses. So you're gonna see no matter who loses this game, they're gonna have a great season. That's my full thoughts on it. I'm gonna go with Adam first because I know he does like Garrett Musmeyer. I know we have Doit. We don't need to think about that no more. But I know he's been loving watching Garrett play throughout his college career. But what's your thoughts on the game, Adam?
Well, I like Garrett Nussmeier. The problem is that I don't like Brian Kelly as their coach.
Yeah.
I like their team. I like what they can do, but they seem to collapse sometimes in big moments. And sometimes it's because of Brian Kelly's indecision or wrong decision or just how he's treating players or whatever. You kind of see them implode. Last year, they were supposed to be this dynamic team, and down the stretch, the wheels fell off. Even with Jaden Daniels, when he had a big year, they weren't the powerhouse that they were when Joe Burrow and all company was there. So I'm going to pick LSU because I like Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's going to be top 3 pick in the NFL draft next year. And I think he stayed for a reason. Had he been out there, I wouldn't have been clamoring as much for Shedeur Sanders. It probably would have been, Garrett Nussmeier. As a matter of fact, it would have been Garrett Nussmeier. That was my guy when he was coming out. I loved the intangibles that he had. Obviously, he stayed another year. So hopefully he has learned from his mistakes. Because while I blame Brian Kelly, I also blame Garrett Nussmeier as well. There were some moments in some games where, he threw a costly interception or made a costly mistake at inopportune time. So he's got to get better at that. If he puts it together, we could be talking about LSU and Ohio State probably in the natty like that. That's how good this team can be. Now, if they get in their way when they do what Brian Kelly normally does, it could be bad. On the other hand, I want to see what Klubnik does because if you watched him progress, he's kind of grown into where he is now. Like when he was a sophomore, he was good, but he could run and he had some highlight plays. You're like, oh, okay, Klubnik. Then last year he kind of poured it on a little bit, realized that he could, play in this league, and now we'll see if he can take it to the next level. There are many predicting him to be number 2, or if Arch Manning comes out, he'll be number 2. If Arch doesn't come out, they predict that he'll be number 1. So, I can't wait to see it. I like quarterbacks, I like watching them. This should be a fun one. LSU, get the dubs.
Well said. And before I pass the mic over to Mac, I will want to say this: LSU and Garrett Nussmeier, he said he's gonna come back, and he said he's coming back to win a championship, nothing less. And if he goes out there and he has a Joe Burrow season, he could easily, I'm gonna say, he could easily jump Arch Manning and go number 1 overall. If he does win it all and have a Joe Burrow, just like Joe Burrow did to Tua, I could see Garrett Nussmeier doing it to Archie, and that's if Archie even does come out. Archie could have a mediocre season and want to stay again, but we'll see. We'll tackle that well when it gets there. But I love how high on LSU you are, Adam, because I'm pretty high on them myself. Go right ahead, Mac.
I know LSU was desperate to get off to a good start this season. This would be a big win if they could pull this off. I'm not so sure they're going to. Clemson is a pretty good football team. They rank number 4 for a reason. This game's over there in South Carolina. So I'm still going to go with Clemson here for the dub, but LSU is coming off a disappointing season by their standards. I honestly kind of go with Adam there. I believe the problem is more of a Brian Kelly thing as opposed to the talent that they have on their football team. I mean, like you were talking about, Nussmeier's a great quarterback, but I'm just still not convinced on Brian Kelly, man. I agree with Adam 100% about Brian Kelly. So I'm going to go with Clemson at home on Saturday in this one.
Well said. And Adam, he did have Brian Kelly as a coach, and he knew in Notre Dame Brian Kelly could not win the big games. And he history of Brian Kelly.
Just look at that. He leaves. We get Marcus Freeman, and look what we're doing, right? I mean, it's not like they did much more with that roster. He came in with all those same players, right? And now here, I mean, you can't fault Brian Kelly for everything, right? But there was a reason it didn't work out. His quarterbacks were never First off, he never had quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels and Nussmeier. If he had those guys, Notre Dame probably wouldn't have national title. I mean, my God.
Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Chase. That'd be nice.
They play in the SEC. But if they were in the independent like Notre Dame, that team would be, flourishing.
Oh man. Well said, guys. Alrighty. We're gonna preview this, and then we'll probably tackle the Giants at the end of the show. Probably get out in the next 30 minutes or so, gang. But Thursday night early kickoff predictions. I know you guys will probably do the final predictions on NFC East on Wednesday, but let's just give premium takes because we'll probably talk about this game when we have premium takes the next time. So we got Thursday night football kickoff. We got Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna just say it. I mean, like, Cowboys going out there to get their ass beat. They're gonna get their ass beat. It's not like they're gonna move the ball on offense, but I mean, like, I would have said that if the Giants was playing them. I would have said that if the Redskins was playing them. These are the defending champions, guys. I'm going to say Eagles probably going to – it's an NFC East division. It might be a close game, but it's probably – Eagles are probably going to run away with it maybe in the 4th. So I'm going to say final prediction. I'm going to say 28 Eagles, 17 Cowboys. So Eagles don't really kick their ass, but they do. That's my final predictions. I really don't really have anything to say about these rosters. I mean, like both rosters are stacked. We just got done talking about Micah Parsons. He's out of the defense, but the defense, they still have some playmakers, but I just think that the Eagles offense is just going to be too much for them. Barkley's just going to be too much for them. I get it. It's going to be week 1. It might be sloppy football, but at the end of the day, Eagles are just a far superior team. And I'm going to go on a limb and say this. I'm going to just say this right now. I have Dallas Cowboys finishing last in the division. I'm going to say that. They're going to move the ball crazy on offense. They're going to score like crazy, and their defense is not going to stop anybody. That's my prediction. But I'm going to just say Eagles are going to take it. Go right ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I got the Eagles in this one as well. I had the Eagles, even if Micah Parsons was going to play, I still was going to have the Eagles. It wasn't going to matter if he was on the team and was going to play or not. I still picking the Eagles here. I think it will be a lot more lopsided now. However, I agree with that. I think it's going to be even more lopsided than what you saying. Right now, I think what all the Cowboys have been dealing with the last all damn summer, all this whole entire off season, I just think this ain't nowhere they want going into Philly week 1. Obviously it's somewhere they've been plenty of times, but at the same time, it's going, that stadium going to be rocking. The link is going to be shaking on next Thursday night, and I don't think the Cowboys is going to be quite ready for what they're going to deal with. The Eagles are just a loaded football team, and they're going to be a problem once again this year. And if any team is geared to go back to back, I'm not trying to put that shit into existence, but this team is built. They built like that. They stay healthy. I don't really see what's stopping them other than themselves. So I got the Eagles here.
Well said. They were built different for sure. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, I think the Eagles are going to win. I think they were going to win anyways, but this kind of is going to rock the Cowboys' boat a little bit. It's Thursday night football. I think their offense is going to put it together and score and move the ball. I don't know if they're going to score, but they've been doing some good things, at least from what I hear, in camp with George Pickens and building a rapport. So we'll see if that big offensive line can do something. And who knows what happens? The ball may bounce their way, it may not. But I don't know if I don't want to get too deep into the weeds because obviously, we got to save something for Wednesday. But my concern for the Cowboys is who's going to watch Jalen Hurts, right? Because I feel like if you watched Super Bowl last year, nobody spied that guy, and he was a real threat and kind of was game breaking with his running. So that's what I have. I think the Eagles are going to – I don't think they're going to blow them out because it's an NFC East game, but I think it could be a 28-21, 30 to 25 or something like that, some type of game like that where the Cowboys score a garbage touchdown late and kind of make it a little closer.
Well said. You guys can probably catch their final predictions on the NFC East Roundup. That's going to be next Thursday on Adam's channel and also on Mac's channel. That being said, guys, we are getting into our main topic at hand. I know you guys probably talked about it earlier on the show on NFC East Roundup. I just wanted to get into a little bit of a Giants talk, guys. Giants discussion. My mouse is kind of dead right now. I don't know why it died on me, so I can't click, but I'm going to click it right here. There you go. I didn't put New York Giants roster, but we can get into the roster, and I'm going to start the question by posing that. Before we open up on full Giants conversation, I'm going to just say this. You guys probably talked about it, but for the Premium Takes audience that didn't catch the Wednesday's episode, was there anything on the roster that shocked you guys? Any roster cuts that shocked you, or any roster, someone that was on the roster that you feel that didn't deserve to be on the roster? I'm going to start with you, Adam.
Who's surprised that made the roster? Well, I'm surprised that Daniel Bellinger is on the roster. I feel like there was a lot of negative talk about him. I'm surprised that they didn't keep that guy, Greg Dulcich. They kept 4 tight ends, but he was not one of them. I don't know why you need Manhurts if you have Bellinger and Theo Johnson, guys who are supposed to be blocking tight ends. And the receiving core is kind of interesting. It's a small group of guys. And the one guy I like, Bo Collins, thankfully, I think he's still on the team. I don't think they've cut him yet. I'm hoping he sticks because I think that kind of receivers what the Giants are lacking. They're lacking a big, receiver that can kind of be a possession receiver for them. You could say Theo Johnson does that, but I'm talking about just straight receiver, right? And to be honest, none of the receivers scare me outside of Malik Neighbors. Everybody's just who they are. I mean, I think they're going to be slightly better with Russell Wilson, but not too much. Defensively, I'm just surprised that they kept, only 3 outside linebackers. I know they have Jerome Fox on the practice squad, but 3 outside backers. You're really relying on these guys to, carry the load a bit. And then obviously they have 60 tackles. No one's emerged next to Dexter Lawrence, and the linebacking core is kind of a little weak. But other than that, there's some guys I liked. I'm surprised they lost Corey Black. I kind of liked him, the 7th round pick. He had a solid camp, and I'm looking forward to some guys like Bo Collins. I'm looking forward to Karen Scatterboo, and I'm just looking forward to Membo because obviously Andrew Thomas is having some issues. So, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. But to me, nothing crazy. What I did realize after going over the roster is we're very thin in the terms of depth, right? Like if some guy goes down, like outside maybe quarterback, linemen are a little suspect. Are if God forbid Carter or Tibbs goes down, do you really trust Timon Fox? I mean, I like Chauncey Golston, and it gives you that position versatility where he can play inside outside. Right now, they're listing him as a D lineman, so we'll see. But it's very thin in some spots, and we'll see how they play out as injuries pile up and they matriculate down the season. But that's all I got.
Well said, Mac. Anything that surprised you on the roster? And did you like the overall roster? Just your thoughts on the roster in general.
I mean, overall, I think the roster is pretty solid. One of the probably, for New York Giants, is pretty damn solid. Probably the best roster in quite a few years, honestly, that I can say coming out of training camp, just on paper at least. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say there was any big surprises for me. I mean, Greg Dulcich, I hear you. The thing about Greg Dulcich, he had a great preseason. Looked like, how's this guy not going? I honestly did. I thought after that New England game, I said, Greg Dulcich just stole a roster spot. He took one. I said, he just got it. After that game, I thought for sure he signed, sealed, delivered. And I mean, like you said, you hear a lot of different things about Daniel Bellinger. It seems like he's in disguise in the doghouse 1 minute. He only played a very limited bit against Buffalo in the preseason. Just seemed like they were just done with Daniel Bellinger and they was moving on from him and whatever. That's what it appeared to look like. But apparently they had other plans. So I'm good with that because I personally like what Bellinger brings to the table. I have no problem with him. I can't figure out why he keeps finding his way into the doghouse with this regime. It seems like the last couple of years because I mean when he's on the field he is what he is. He's not going to ever be like George Kittle, Travis Kelce, or any of those guys, but he's still, he does what you need him to do. And I've never had a problem with the kid. So I feel like the thing with Greg Dulcich that probably led to more maybe making the decision with him is just the fact of just look at Greg Dulcich over the last few years, man. He just never can be on. Availability is your best ability, and he's never available. He can never seem to keep himself available. So, I think
it was more on the Fedoni side. They couldn't cut him and make him get to waivers, where they could do that with Dulcich, and he had a chance to come back. He obviously chose to go to Miami, probably a clearer path to play than behind the 4 guys. So I think it came down to numbers, and they were scared to lose Fedoni, which he came on the preseason. Had they not used Fedoni and he did nothing, you probably could have cut him and kept Dulcich, but who knows?
Well,
I agree.
I like Collins. I think we've seen free agent Victor Cruz. Now, no raises Collins. I'm not going to compare him to Victor Cruz yet, but I love it when you see these players coming in undrafted and fight their ass off and make rosters. And that's exactly what Collins did. So I just wanted to point that out there. I love the fact that they gave that kid a chance on the actual roster. And, he had a good camp. He had a good preseason games. And I love the fact that he made the roster. But continue, Matt.
And lost my damn train of thought. Well, I mean,
My bad.
I totally lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was even talking about.
He was on the tight ends. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, but other than that, I mean, nothing else really jumped off the page at me. I mean, as far as, Turbo, I wasn't really on the Turbo Miller hype train as much as everybody else was. I would have been fine if they kept him and he was a special team guy, helped out and maybe came in some packages and did a little something, threw a screen pass to him here and there or something. But I wasn't on the hype train as much as other people were. So that really wasn't that big of a surprise to me. As some people were shocked by the fact that we didn't keep Turbo Miller, but at least on the roster as he still is a part of the practice squad.
He wasn't a very good runner. Like he's good
he wasn't
catching the ball in the backfield. But when I don't know if you saw this, Mac, but every time he would get the ball and there'd be a crease, he kind of would step to the side and get tackled. If he had just hit the hole hard, he probably gets a big gain. And I'm just like the guy Ward who came in behind him, he had a little bit more juice when he was running the ball. And I'm like, I think Ward just went on that long touchdown he had in the game. I thought Ward might have stolen the spot, but obviously they kept Turbo.
So yeah, other than that, really no big surprises for me there. I mean, it's just not too many big surprises for me with the roster. I'm satisfied with it, at least for right now on paper. Just real quick, get out the way. Just congratulations to the captains once again. I think I love the way Brian Daboll did it this year. Let the team vote. Top 5 vote getters are our guys, and that shows you exactly what the locker room thinks of those guys. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Bobby Okereke, Russell Wilson, and Darius Slayton, man. Darius Slayton, the longest tenured New York Giant on this roster, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And locker room apparently has a high respect for him and values what he brings to the table in terms of as a leader. So, congratulations to all those guys, man. And I'm just excited for New York Giant football, man. Let's see. I want to see it on the field now. I want to see with the real deal. No more the backups all over the place. Shit. I want to see the starters, the best on best. I want to see. I'm excited to see exactly how it's going to look. It looked great in the preseason, but now it's real, and I want to see it just translate onto the field. Right now, I'm not counting on Andrew Thomas being out there week 1. I'm just not at this point because he's doing a little more work, I guess, day by day, but is he going to be ready in a week to actually go out there and play a game? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be ready to actually go out there and play a game on next Sunday, but hopefully, sure. I'd like to see him out there, but I just not, like I said, if he's still not quite ready to go and you need to get him ready for week 2, and it's better to get him ready and be out there for week 2, then let's do it, man. Let's just do that and just cut. Just go out there with the guys we got right now for week 1. It's a tough task asking, but at the end of the day,
James Hudson, great.
It's not very encouraging. But like I said, let's just go out there. I'd rather Andrew Thomas come back when he's absolutely ready.
They should have put on PUP in my eyes.
So, but I guess that's because that way, once you're on PUP, then you're designated a certain amount of time regardless. And then if he's ready to go, and then he still has to sit on PUP for a couple more weeks or something like that. I think that's why they didn't want to go that route with him, honestly.
Didn't some team just IR guy and say they can come back in 4 weeks? I think the Giants just did that. The Giants just acquired a guy via
Well, that's what they did with Joshua Zulu. Joshua Zulu can't. He's out for the first 4 weeks at least.
So then do that with. You should have done that with Thomas. Because if Thomas is saying that he doesn't feel ready. So if that's the case, if I'm Ronnie Barnes, I'm like, you know what, pub him, let them roll him out for the remaining 14 games or 13 games that are left, and hopefully we're in a good place where this doesn't happen again. But he had a huge offseason with ankle injuries, getting his ankle scoped. Not to mention they got to get a screw out of his foot. All right, that was bothering him. He hasn't really played on it. The doctor said he's 50-50 with the screw or whatever. And many people from Liz Frank injuries don't come back the same player that they were. And that's just a proven fact when you look at the statistics of what's going on. And so to me, a guy who's already telling the reporters that he doesn't even know if he's ready to play week one is kind of concerning to me, and kind of concerning in the fact that if this is Andrew Thomas and this is what he told you, I'm pupping you, or I short-term IRing you for 4 weeks with Azudu. You guys can go take cold showers together or cold fucking tubs and get rehab together, whatever you need to do. But get back together and your whole fucking team can come together, and you don't need to worry about him being ready for week one and putting a weaker player out there. If to me, that's smart business decision. Like I get trying to bring him back and be full strength, but now you're going to put a player like James Hudson, who's probably better off being a swing tackle, now out there against, I don't care how old Von Miller is, he's still got some moves against players who are less caliber than him. And it only takes one time for him to come around to make a sack fumble or something, and we don't have our dominant left tackle to eat up this guy. And here we are. Now, on the other hand, I don't want the guy to come in there and be rushed. But to me, if he's not ready, you should have just pupped him for 4 weeks or IR'd him for 4 weeks like you did to Zudu, whose injury is probably not as egregious as Andrew Thomas's injury. They're probably just doing it because they need roster space, and it's probably like a hamstring injury or groin injury or something like that, where they put him out there for 4 weeks, let him heal, and he'll come back and it'll be valuable depth. Well, you could have done that with Andrew Thomas, and would I've been mad? No, I'd rather be like, all right, come back healthy. But now I have to hope and pray that he comes back, and they have a padded practice on Wednesday. If he's not out there with the first team, and he ain't playing. And it doesn't get any easier after Washington. Then you go Washington, you go, thanks. You don't have Micah Parsons. We still have like Sam Williams and a few other guys to come in there. And then the following week you get that Charger defense that was pretty good. And then you get the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's not like you could have eased him in and brought him back at the Saints game in week 5. And he could have came in against an opponent that's not going to probably be hard to face, right? And you could have had him at full strength. Now we're hoping and praying that he can even make it to the field in week 1, and that he doesn't get injured because he hasn't played football in 4 weeks. Well, a year actually, more than 4 weeks.
Well said. Hell yeah. Any last thoughts, guys? Because I'm really I'm good on the episode, and let you guys have any last thoughts on the Giants. I'm just gonna say shout out to Tommy DeVito for getting picked up from the Patriots. I mean, like, good on him. He obviously we probably wanted him back for the practice squad, but good on the kid. Go out there and now you make roster. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I'm comfortable as hell with the quarterback room, with the roster. I get it. People was mad at Miller. I wasn't so much mad at Miller. I get why he didn't make the roster. Nothing really shocked me. I'm just can't wait for the season. And you guys are absolutely right though about everything about Thomas, and also about our depth too. And that's one thing I want to touch on. Is like that's the only thing that scares me. Is like, we'll talk about how good this team is, our front seven on defense, and hopefully everybody stays healthy for the respective season, and because it is going to be a long one. And preseason, that 3-0 record means absolutely nothing. Every team's 0-0, and I can't wait. Go ahead, Adam. Final thoughts.
The one thing I am worried about is the defensive scheme, because they haven't addressed the guy next to Dexter Lawrence 100%. I do like 95, Roy Robinson Harrison, or whatever the hell his name is. He was
Alexander Robinson too. He's going to be there hopefully.
Well, the Alexander kid, he's going to take some time.
He's a rookie. He's young.
He came from Toledo. We talk about competition and things like that. He's got a little, bit of work to happen to him. Unfortunately, he's a little older. So you hope an older player can kind of get acclimated. But
Raheem Nocious Senior. I can't.
Oh my God, that guy stinks. Like, I tell you, that guy stinks. Right? I'm sorry. That guy does nothing. He has a cool name, Nacho, but that's about it. But I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the defense, but I'm wondering if it's scheme related, because you see Brian Burns, you see Kevin Thibodeau. They're not the heavy set linebackers that you normally would want to have to stop the run. They're guys that you want to just throw out there and pass rush and cause havoc. Well, that tends to get you out of your gap zone because you're trying to either run around or you're trying to run inside. Against bigger tackles, that they can't always be, just power, like the Eagles offensive line, the Lance Johnsons of the world, right? Or even like Larry Tunsil's of the world. Those are bigger guys. They're gonna wear down. So if you're running a wide 9, which they like to run, there's easy ways to bootleg and run underneath the outside defensive end if he crashes down. So if they run RPOs, which Washington likes to do. It could ruin this defense and neutralize the pass rush. And if they can't stop the run, it doesn't matter if you have, the best of the best out there rushing the passer. Stopping the run is essential to winning football games. It gets you off the field. And the one thing they also have to do that people aren't talking about, besides stopping the run, we need fucking turnovers. The Giants had 6 last year, and 1 was from a DB.
I just watched the Colorado quarterback get racked, but he got the ball off in time. Absolutely. We are definitely gonna preview the Redskins game. Hopefully they go back. Trump ordered it. We're gonna preview the Washington Commanders game next week. One thing I did know that I did read earlier on this week is they're gonna be out there left tackle, and that's gonna be a win for us. Thank you very much. Larry Tunsil is still gonna be a demon, but on the other side, that gives us a path to the quarterback. But we definitely is going to go over the awards, MVP, offensive rookie, defensive player of the year, all of that jazz. We're going to preview every division.
We're going to be without our left tackle too, so.
That's true. And then we're going to do our big 45-minute show. We're just going to run through every division nice and fast. We're going to give you guys awards, and then we can get out of there, and then we can all watch the game from Brazil. That's going to be Kansas City versus, I believe, the Chargers. So tune in.
There's a game on Friday. Nice.
There's a game on Friday. So that's why we're going to do a fast show on Friday, because we all know that we want to watch the football. That being said, though, back over to you, Mac. Any final thoughts? If anything, not, close it up, brother. Let's get it.
I ain't got nothing else, but just thank everybody coming out once again tonight, joining us for another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Make sure y'all go to Adam's channel, hit the subscribe, like button. Go to Zion's channel, hit the subscribe and like button over there as well. Under my channel, I'm MacDaGiantsFan, and please do the same thing. Just help all our channels grow, and definitely go and support the Hardcore Sports Network as well, and continue to help that community grow as well. Much appreciated. Throw them 4s up for our guy, our fallen angel, our soldier. NYG Jeffy T, man, we still love you, baby. You're always going to, man. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast.